Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Raising Cane's studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city on this Tuesday. Means we're brought to you by Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. Hope your work week's off to a good start. Jordan Kitchens, Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos, and we have got a lot to do in this show. There are some days where around 11:30, I've got some holes to fill in the show. Today, they were full before 9 a.m. Whole thing was loaded. So we'll get to the Saints as they get into the NFL draft later on this week. Glenn West will be with us at 1:30 talking Tigers. LSU football was on the practice field earlier today. I've got a report on that. Will Wade has a player. Not 13, not even 5, but 1. He does have 1. We'll talk about that. And, of course, we'll get to Sheree Aishak with the Saints as well. So lots and lots to do over the course of the next 2 hours. Let's crank it up the way we do every day with our opening drive.
Welcome to the big league.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive, presented by Fabry Chevrolet GMC in St. Francisville.
23 hours ago, I gave you, I wouldn't call it a speech. I wouldn't say I poured my heart out. I would just suggest I expressed my feelings about this LSU baseball team. I said, look, I know they're in a terrible spot. And I know that a lot of folks have thrown in the towel, have waved the white flag. I can't. I don't want to get into football in May. And I've seen miraculous turnarounds. And I'm passionate about the program. And I'm going to Starkville this weekend. And I'm going to ride with them through the storm until I'm told I cannot be on the horse anymore. That's just the way I'm wired. It's the way I function. And I've told you all year this year that I prematurely hit the panic button in 23 with the bullpen. Nobody really remembers the bullpen disasters in March and April now because they ended up being so good and winning the national title. I prematurely gave up in 24. I said, there's no way they can get to the NCAA tournament. They're 3-12. And they got there. And I told you, I'm here to ride, and it's the only way I know how to do it. And that was 23 hours ago. And so I'll tell you that my emotions have changed in that 23 hours. And it's because of the injury news that we got yesterday and into today, depending on when the word got to you. Yesterday on Jay Johnson's Coach's Show with Chris Blair at TJ Ribbs, he said Cooper Moore's going to miss the rest of the year. And I had heard yesterday afternoon that Jake Brown wasn't going to play anymore either. Now, I'm not going to just report and tweet things from the rumor mill. We're going to have to make sure we can nail that down. But we did. Matt had it at LouisianaSports.net, and that story's out. If you've been working for the last 4 hours and aren't aware of what's happened, Jake Brown has a hamate bone fracture. It's going to require surgery, and he will not play for LSU anymore this year. And that essentially means he will not play again for LSU. So now, two of the main reasons I told you yesterday that I was going to keep a shred of optimism are gone. I told you yesterday that Jake Brown's good. As part of the group, like Derek Curiel's good. Stephen Milam, good player. William Schmidt, Case and Evans, talented guys. And you can get Cooper Moore back, and he can occupy maybe 9 outs, and then maybe 12 outs, and maybe 15 outs, and that helps your bullpen, which is pitched a little bit better. And, I wasn't convicted in my argument that LSU was going to turn this around. I just told you I'm going to blindly ride it until I can't anymore. Well, when you tell me that Cooper Moore cannot come back, and LSU has gotten awful starts in all 4 of his absences in SEC play, and you tell me that your most productive hitter is gone, well, that changes my emotional feeling. I'm going to get in the car on Friday early, and I'm going to drive to Starkville, Mississippi. And I'll be honest with you, I know myself, I'm going to be really excited to do that. The college baseball nerd in me is excited to see that stadium for the first time since it's renovated. I have not been there to that stadium since 2013. I'm excited to see that. And LSU is going to go out there and play some baseball on Friday night. And I'll be excited to watch that. But my hope of them turning this around and doing something worthwhile over the next 5 weeks is lost. My hope is lost. I'm going to watch every pitch of it. But they're not going to be able to do any more emotional damage to me. I'm just telling you where I am emotionally. Like, I was miserable watching this weekend. That's how I felt about it. I was miserable watching A&M outclass LSU. If LSU goes to Starkville and gets swept, I will not feel the same way. I've kind of resigned myself to that. And that's an awful feeling. This is the third consecutive major sport, all in this academic year, that have face planted and created essentially, and I use air quotes here, meaningless games down the stretch. That's a hard pill to swallow. And I'm right there swallowing it with all of you. And I know there is a significant portion of you all that are very, very capable of just like hammering the table and going, football season, feed me, baby, lane train, let's go. Like, I'm not wired like that. I can't do it in April, sorry. I'm happy to go cover the spring practice. I was there this morning. Weather was a delight. I watched the QBs throw a little bit. Witt was out there working. We'll talk about it. I'm good paying attention, but I want my emotional investment this time of the year knee deep in baseball. I want regional projections. I want to know what's going on in the ACC. I want national seeds. I want bubble talk. Like, I want all of that, and it just, in my estimation, we're just not going to get it. So what does this mean for this season, and what does this mean for next season? I'll tell you. For this season, obviously, you haven't had Cooper Moore for a month. You know how that looks. Zach Cowan probably gets a go in that last spot. If he doesn't pitch in the first 2 games, they've got some options. Maybe Marcos Paz gets things started. I would suggest if you haven't used Devin Sheeran in the first 2 games against Mississippi State, throw him out there for 70 pitches to start the game on Sunday. Fine by me. They've already been doing that, so that's not anything new. The big news on Moore is that Jay Johnson said on his coach's show that he was able to receive a medical red shirt. Keep in mind, he did pitch 6 weeks into the season, but he only pitched in 6 games. So that's why you're able to keep the medical red shirt, because he's a pitcher who doesn't play. If you play for 6 weeks, I don't think you can get a medical red shirt. But 6 games, because he's a starting pitcher, you can get that. So why is a medical red shirt necessary for a junior? Well, he's able to come back next year if he wants, and he can maintain his draft leverage so he can sign for a significant amount when he completes next season as a junior as opposed to a senior. And it sounds like he wants to come back. And that's a great thing, because I think Cooper Moore is a good college pitcher. I think Cooper Moore on a Sunday is a great SEC option. I mean, we've seen some really talented Sunday options over the last few years. Sunday's not quite what it was 10 years ago. 10 years ago, Sunday guys threw 88 miles an hour and were 5'10". It just wasn't a talented lot of pitchers 10 years ago on Sundays. It is now. But Cooper Moore is a guy that I believe can pitch in the SEC. He's not a Friday guy, but I think he can get you 15 outs in a weekend. And there is always, always, always room for that. So I'm hopeful that Cooper Moore does come back. Jay Johnson said last night that he would. And so that is good news for LSU in 2027. Stinks for 26, but you haven't had him for a month is what it is. As far as Jake Brown goes, I know that his SEC numbers are not good this year. He's hitting just over 200 in league play. He's got some home runs, obviously, but he's done a lot of damage in the non-conference and certainly in the midweek. But he is by far your most potent power option. I don't think I would suggest he's got the most power on the team, but he is your most productive power hitter. He's grown into it over 3 years, and obviously with the 16, 17 home runs, he's had a great season. He's played himself into a second-round draft pick, and I think he's done at LSU. What does that mean for this team? Well, you've got a hole in the outfield now. Stanfield's still going to play left. Curiel's still going to play center. And then in right field, you've got a number of options. I believe the two options that will be most prevalent are Daniel Harden and then the freshman William Patrick. We've seen Tanner Reeves play some outfield. We've seen Braden Simpson play some outfield. Mason Braun is an outfielder by high school trade. And so you can put those guys out there depending on matchups, how you want to do things. But I think that Jay Johnson will probably want to get a look at William Patrick and Daniel Harden. And that sounds like a very obvious thing to say, but I'm just telling you, this is not a charade. When Jay Johnson says 56-game playoff, we're playing every game to win, like there is an element of truth in that. And Jay Johnson is not going to wake up today and say, okay, this season's over. How do we get better for next year? Like that's not how he's going to approach it. Now, at the same time he's coaching the 2026 Tigers, he is certainly coaching the program as well, okay? So I'm not suggesting he's shutting the door on 2027. I don't think it's front of mind. As much as you, the fan, would like it to be, and I just told you that I've lost hope. So I'm not like saying that that's an irrational perspective. I'm just telling you Jay Johnson's not going to punt the football on 5 weeks of baseball. He's not. He's not going to punt. That doesn't mean that the freshmen won't play, but you're going to see some older players play. You're going to see some guys that will not be on next year's team get some at-bats. That's just part of it. They are going to try to win on Friday. And so I think it just gives an opportunity with a lessened bench and as much matchups as he wants to play, he's going to get those guys looks. Patrick is a freak athlete. He's the best athlete on the team. He and Jake Brown are the best two athletes on the team. Patrick's probably a little bit more dynamic, but far less polished because Jake's been in college for 3 years. But Patrick was a uber-talented high school football player. He runs like a deer. He's physical. He's got a big arm. Like he has got a lot of tools, but they are very raw. And you're going on the road in one of the most hostile environments in college baseball against a talented pitching staff. So tossing William Patrick just straight into the deep end there may not be awesome. That's why you may see him tonight against the UNO staff that's not very good. But Harden has gotten some at-bats. He's played a little bit. I think he'll be out there as well. And you haven't seen the last of Reeves and Simpson and Dardar and even York. Like those guys are going to get some at-bats moving forward. There's 4 weeks left in the regular season, and you've also got an SC tournament, which is single elimination this year, but everybody goes. So you're hurting for this year. You've got no starting rotation depth. You've got your most potent bat is gone. It's a tough scene for LSU, but you know what? Here's something I told myself today. If you were going to lose your number 2/number 3 starter, he was pitching second at the time, but whatever you want to call that, and your most potent hitter in a season, this is probably the one. I don't want that to happen to the 2022 team, 23 team. I don't want that to happen to the 2025 team. I don't want that to happen to a team that's ranked second in the country. If it's going to happen, might as well be this one where you're I'm going to put my power rankings together tomorrow, and I'll promise you LSU's going to be 14th. So it's a gut punch. It's a bummer. I'm sad about it. I'm more upset that LSU got to this record than I am the news that happened yesterday. Like, I'm more disappointed at the season as a whole than I am, oh my gosh, Jake Brown's hurt. We're 6-12. What do we do? Like, probably weren't going to do a lot anyway. And I don't need Dylan Cruz getting hurt in 23. I don't need Jared Jones getting hurt in 25. Like, you get the picture, right? It's a huge bummer. I'm really sad about it. But again, I promise you, because I know how I am, I will wake up. My alarm will go off at 4:15 a.m. on Friday to get in the car and go to Starkville. I will be excited to go on that trip. That's just the way I function. And I'll look forward to watching LSU play baseball on Friday. But I promise you this, they might lose 14-4. I'm not going to cry about it because they've hurt me enough, and these two injuries, this update, to me, is wind out of the sails. But they got to play tonight, 6:30. We'll preview that one a little bit later. May talk about it some with Glenn West coming up in 15 minutes. We'll talk some football when we get back. Haven't decided yet. I have the two segments ready. Haven't decided yet if I'm going LSU football practice report or Saints draft talk. We're going to do one of them. But I'll decide in the break, and you'll figure out when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Our friends at Ochsner want to make things as easy as possible for you to know where you need to go for your care. You've got a symptom tracker right there online at ochsner.org/findcare, and there are really three options for you. You've got your primary care. That's comprehensive. It's continuous. So your annual checkups, headaches, low back pain, maybe skin irritations, or your chronic disease management, those things can be handled with your primary care. So you can schedule those visits virtually or go in at www.ochsner.org/brprimary. If things are a little bit more serious, urgent care is an option that is available to you. That's going to be immediate care for common illnesses and minor injuries, sprains, potentially broken bones, lacerations, maybe urinary pain, earaches, rashes, skin irritations. That's where urgent care is available. Walk-ins are very much welcome. They've got extended hours. You can find a location at ochsner.org/urgent care. Now, if you've got severe or life-threatening conditions, emergency care is vital. So call 911 or go to the ER. Severe chest pain, severe head trauma, loss of consciousness, severe abdominal pain or dehydration, all emergency room visits or 911 calls immediately. 24/7 virtual care options. My Ochsner Virtual, which you can schedule online through My Ochsner. Convenient follow-ups and routine care are available. Download that My Ochsner app, and you can also call Ochsner on call at 1-800-231-5257. That is our friends at Ochsner.
The experts at Hood Dental Care want you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays. A $376 value. With over 3,000 five-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care. Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And we always have other great giveaways for new patients. Check out hooddentalcare.com and schedule your appointment today.
Championships are won with preparation, and so are great roofs.
The Tigers don't cut corners on the floor. Parish Construction and Roofing won't cut corners on your home either.
Do business with someone you know. Parish Construction and Roofing.
ParishBuilt.com. My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even JB could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of JB Falgu.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new 25 Jeep Grand Cherokee with $15,000 off MSRP.
Plus the 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient. And the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email LockeMeredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith. If you've been injured on the job, you'll likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Tuesday show is always brought to you by Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. I want to remind you about the Highland Insurance Group. They're online at highlandig.com, highlandig.com. I tell you about property and casualty all the time, and they're certainly happy to help you with that over at the Highland Insurance Group. But don't forget, they are very, very happy to help you with your employee benefits as well. That's a huge, huge piece to acquiring talent and then retaining talent in your organization is making sure your benefits are great. Medical, dental, vision, they're all a big deal in making sure that you've got the right people in your organization. So if you're not comfortable with the renewal that you just had on your benefits, or you've got one coming up that you're a little bit nervous about, or you just feel like you're not offering what you could be offering, let the Highland Insurance Group be a second opinion for you. Let them take a look at what you're offering your employees and see what they can do to better that, whether that's by the actual benefits themselves or in terms of premium. They're happy to help. It's the Highland Insurance Group. Check them out for your health care, dental, vision, those group and employee benefits. They are here to help. They're online at highlandig.com, highlandig.com. All right, we're inching closer and closer to the NFL draft. First round coming up on Thursday from Pittsburgh. And I kind of mapped out how I wanted this draft week to go from our perspective on how to lead up to it. Because, it feels like we've been ramping up to this for 6 weeks, okay? And so with 4 days this week before that first pick, I kind of mapped it out. And yesterday I talked about a dream scenario, which I think would be trading back for New Orleans. I also suggested it was just ridiculously unlikely based on Mickey Loomis' track record. So that's what I want to talk about yesterday. I think it's the right move for the Saints if you find the right partner and the right compensation, which is impossible for us to analyze because we're not having those conversations. But we had that discussion, and now we leave it in the past. I promised you yesterday we're not going forward with any more trade down talk. And they better not trade up. Here's the deal for today. It'll be my Hunt Palmer's wish list 1 through 5 in order of realistic selections for New Orleans at that spot. Tomorrow, I'm going to give you my prediction who the Saints will pick. And then on Thursday, we'll deal with all the rumors that are flying because that's when the talk will really start to heat up. The final mock drafts will be out, and we'll just kind of analyze that. So today is my wish list. Not Mickey's, not Ireland's, not Kellen Moore's, mine. And then we'll see how we feel about it. Now, these are realistic. Yeah, I would really like it if they got Arvell Reese. Not sure that's happened. He's not on the wish list. We're looking at more realistic options. And the way that I have approached this, and I've been transparent about this the whole time, I'm not a scout, okay? I'm just assessing the Saints roster and the plan. I'm not here to tell you this guy's better than that guy. That's not really my corner of the store. But based on the Saints roster, where they're picking, the players thought to potentially be available, and no question, 2 or 3 of these guys may not be available, but this is my wish list for the Saints at 8. It starts with a player at a position that is very difficult to come by. That's why he is at the top of my list. I don't think the Saints are picking in the top 8 next year. I think it's hard to sign these guys in free agency. They rarely come available. This may be your shot at this position. He may be an all-pro. He may not be a super impactful player. I'm aware of his flaws. However, at that position, which will be a position of need for the Saints moving forward, the top of my wish list for the Saints is Ruben Bain from Miami. I get it. He's not tall. His arms are short. Got it. But he is extremely physical. He is extremely strong. He was massively productive at the highest level of college football. And I think could be a nice fit opposite Chase Young with Carl Granderson. And that would be the end of Cam Jordan, I think, in New Orleans, should they make that pick. He's the top of my list because of the position he plays. Where else are you going to get a game-changing edge rusher? They're hard to come by. This is your chance. He's number 1 on my wish list. Second, this may surprise some people, maybe not, but we haven't talked as much about this fit. But this is also a massive position of need for New Orleans, in my opinion. And it's a talent upgrade, in my opinion. And it's a guy that could anchor this spot for 6-7 years. Number 2 on my wish list is Mansour Delane from LSU. I don't have the unwavering confidence in New Orleans' number 1 corner spot. I think the two guys that you've got out there right now are 2s or potentially 3s. So, yeah, Kool-Aid, high draft pick, 5-star recruit, Bama. Quincy Riley, nice first year. But I feel like Delane might be a 1. And if you make him a 1, I think the other two guys that are already on your roster become more stable in their spot as 2 and 3, as 2 and nickel. Number 2 on my wish list, Mansour Delane from LSU. Number 3 is a position that we feel like the Saints are definitely going to address in the first 2 picks. And the reason he's 3rd on my list is because I think the other 2 positions are tougher to come by. I believe wide receiver to be a little bit more easy to access. Maybe you can take him one in the 2nd round that does what you need. But I think the most game-changing wide receiver potentially in this draft, there's risk, no doubt. But there's also huge upside as Jordan Tyson. He is number 3 on my wish list. I just like the size. I like the leaping ability. I'm aware of the hamstring issues, but he's a different player than Chris Olave, and he might be the explosive dude who breaks in on the scene and becomes a stud that knocks Olave down to one of the better 2s in the NFL, and then you've got Vele and that complementary group with Polk behind him, and it just all of a sudden makes that wide receiver group look a little bit more balanced and lined up closer to the top of the league than closer to the bottom of the league. And last year at this time, when you looked at it, you were closer to the bottom of the league in terms of your 1, 2, 3. Tyson, I think, gives you upside. I like him at number 3 on my wish list. So that's Ruben Bain 1, Mansour Delane 2, Jordan Tyson 3. This guy's number 4 on my wish list, not because I think that the 3 guys ahead of him are better players than him per se. It's because of the position, and it's a Saints fit thing. It's Caleb Downs. If the Saints took Caleb Downs, I would think that was a great pick and that you got a great football player who I think has a great chance to make Pro Bowls. But at safety, when you've got some youth at safety, you've got some money invested at safety, I feel like there are other places that you need to address. And if you take a safety in round 1, you still, to me, have a need at corner, have a need at rusher, and have a need at wide receiver, and you haven't addressed any of those, and now you have to wait until the 2nd round. I don't love that strategy as much. This has less to do with the player than it does the strategy. So again, it wouldn't be a bad pick. It would just be one that I don't think was the best fit at the time in terms of positional need. So that's Bain at 1, Mansour Delane at 2, Jordan Tyson at 3, Caleb Downs at 4. And then at number 5, I think my second favorite wide receiver at this spot is Carnell Tate. I like Carnell Tate's route running. I like his hands. I like his consistency. I like his college production. I think he fits in. I don't think he has the upside of Jordan Tyson. I don't think he's as good an athlete. He did make big plays, no doubt. He was a vertical threat for Ohio State. Ohio State's got better players than just about everybody that they play with. So play against, I should say. So he was playing off of Jeremiah Smith, which is a great spot to be in. I like Carnell Tate. Would be fine with the pick, but he's 5th on my list here. So that's Ruben Bain, Mansour Delane, Jordan Tyson, Caleb Downs, and Carnell Tate. Absent from this list, Jeremiah Love. Absent from this list is, obviously David Bailey is not going to be there. Absent from this list is Mekhi Lemon. Absent from this list are some of the other names that have been mocked to the Saints. But I feel pretty good about it, 1 through 5. Jordan, what do you think?
I'm just conflicted at this point. I just need to draft this. Come on, man. It's just too much. Every day is like, if this guy goes to the Saints, I will take him. Like, it's just so, like you said, there's 5 guys you can realistically name right now that at pick number 8, any one of those 5, the Saints take at 8, I'm happy with. And I hate being in that position. I'm used to just being like, well, hey, we need a tackle, we're going to take a tackle. To get a Fuaga, get a Kelvin Banks and all this. But at this point, I just need Thursday to come on.
What are the odds the Saints' 8th pick is not on that list?
That would be, wow. That means it would be like offensive lineman. The odds, I would say there would be
Mekhi Lemon.
I said that'd be super low. If Tyson and if Tater up there, you go Lemon. That would be the shock of the draft. I would say it's super low. I think we can realistically say out of those 5, it will be one of those players. And out of those 5, I don't have an issue with any one of those 5. And it's like any day I wake up, I'm like, I can see Caleb Downs, or I can see Jordan Tyson, I can see Tate, I just need Thursday to get here, man. That's all I need.
It's coming.
We've been saying that for 3 weeks, though.
We got it all mapped out. It'll be here before we know it. Take a time out, come back and talk Tigers with Glenn West next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Need that Generac home standby generator? Got to call Neil and Melissa. They've been running Boudreaux's Electrical for 40 years. Family owned and operated for 40 years. Here in South Louisiana, we like to do business with locals. And that's not just because it's a sentimental thing. There's some of that, but it's not the reason. The reason is because the local businesses know how to cater to and provide the customer service that you're used to down here with Southern Hospitality. If you buy that Generac home standby generator from the big box store, do you ever hear from them again? What happens if there's a mechanical breakdown? Do you even know about it? You will with Boudreaux's Electrical because they monitor their generators. And if there is a mechanical problem, they send out a local team to come deal with it. And they make sure that when that power goes out, which happens in this part of the world a lot, we're getting into the summer months. You know what that means. It's time to get that Generac home standby generator put in so you don't deal with power outages all summer long. You can find them online at boudreauxelectrical.com or give them a call. There's two numbers. The first one, it's been there for a long, long time, 985-397-1562. That's 985-397-1562 or 225-300-9389 in Gonzales. That's my friends at Boudreaux's Electrical.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
At Raising Cane's, we hand batter every chicken finger, mix every cane sauce, butter every Texas toast, stir every slaw, and salt every fry. Because when you do it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Bayou Ford has the new 25 Ford F-150 Lariat truck with $12,000 off MSRP, plus the 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith with Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. We take great pride in educating our clients about their rights. Whether you're injured at work or while you drive, call our office at 272-5555. Knowledge is power, and you should know your rights after an injury.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan of Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. When insurance companies have been unfair, we've never been afraid to go to trial. Fighting hard to protect your rights, we never settle a case out of convenience. We only settle when it's right for you. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call.
Most roofers just replace your shingles. At Pelican, we diagnose your roof, digging deep down to find the root cause of your roof symptoms. Now call for me? Good. We don't ignore your roof's issues, we address them. Let's just take care of this right here, helping your roof to become the best version of itself. Interesting that you would say that. How does that make you feel? So call Pelican Roofing for your free roof checkup today.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Tuesday shows always brought to you by Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. If your IT department is just overwhelmed, got one or two folks trying to handle all that goes on in your organization, contact the folks at Immense. They're not here to replace your IT department. They're here to help your IT department and help your business develop through the use of technology. They're proactive. They're a consultant. They're here to help guide you with IT. If you're not aware of something that could be wrong in your IT department, Immense monitors that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they can make sure that things are running smoothly so that you can do the things that you want to do. Of course, they've got experts in QuickBooks and Salesforce and other CRMs, and yes, they can do some break and fix work, but really they're here to help guide you and to assist your IT department. So if you're not happy with your current IT situation, check them out at immense.net. It's immense.net. They bring you our Tuesday shows each and every week. Let's go to the jimsfarms.net phone lines. Glenn West, senior writer, Go 24/7 with us on Tuesdays. Glenn, how are you?
Doing all right, Hunt. How about yourself?
You really want that answer?
Well, you told me a little bit earlier today,
Exactly.
so I kind of know. But,
Exactly.
We're all kind of in the same boat, I guess.
I mean, how surprised would you have been if I told you after week 2 in Jacksonville that this is where we were sitting from a baseball perspective?
Yeah, I'd be pretty surprised. I mean, that was a team, 2 weeks in that looked to be clicking on all cylinders, and really that next weekend it just kind of started to crumble, and they just, I think for the first week or two there, we were like, all right, maybe this is just a down stretch of the season. Maybe this team is just, hitting their worst spot of the year early. And then it just continued to happen. And, this is just kind of the team that we're left with here, I guess, 2 months into it.
It is. What's your hope level for the next 4 weeks for this team, not the program, for this version of LSU?
Yeah, I think for me, and I'll just kind of go off of what Coach Johnson was saying on Friday. Like I think the next 4 weeks are going to be really important for the young guys. Like I think we've reached that point, and particularly now with the news of Jake Brown being out for the year, shutting Cooper Moore down. I'm not saying that you go out there and you just don't play your best players or don't play your best veterans just because you want to get the younger guys some more looks, but I do think that you'll start to see some more, and we started to see it this last weekend, and just how much involved you're going to get guys like Marcos Paz and Reagan Ricken on the mound, and some of these guys you could be getting back next year in the field. Guys like maybe a William Patrick now can maybe slide into the outfield and get some increased looks. Mason Braun and Omar Cerna and Tate Beatty. I think. To be honest, we're looking at a team right now that has to be playing for the future and not really as much playing for this season. And, that's just kind of where they are. That's kind of where they are. That's kind of what Coach Johnson laid out to us on Friday there. And I think you're going to see that reflected here in kind of the last 4 weeks of the season in terms of who's plays and who's getting all the opportunities.
On the mound, how would you characterize Kason Evans and William Schmidt's seasons?
I think they've been just hard to figure out because we see the talent. Like the consistency has been the major element there with both of them. I think Schmidt, at least early on in the season, showed you that he'd taken some real steps there in terms of being able to pitch himself out of trouble. The last couple weeks he's been hit pretty hard and hit around pretty much by both of these previous two teams that they've played. Kason, I think, is a little bit more of a different case for me because I think that once he's been able to settle into the majority of his outings, he's been really good. Like, I think there have been times where he's looked like he wouldn't be able to get past the second or third inning, and then you look up and he's thrown 6 innings, and it's like, how did he get through that and just kind of settle in there? And I think that they are two pitchers with immense talent that are learning how to have success in the SEC as starters, and it's been a little bit of a bumpy ride. And, it's just not, I think not all development is linear. Not all development is going to be like Cade Anderson or like Anthony Ianson or like what we saw, guys like Luke Holman and Gage Jump have. I think that these are two guys that have all the talent in the world, but are just learning how to be consistent starters in the SEC, and it's just taken them a little bit of probably a little longer than they were hoping and LSU was hoping, but I still think that they are two huge pieces for the future of this program, and you're going to continue to see them rolled out here over the next month.
Yeah, that's kind of the next piece with Kason and William is like, what are they for the next month and what are they next year? And if they're markedly improved, it's a phenomenal foundation for LSU baseball. If they're the same as they are right now, well, LSU doesn't win many of their starts.
Yeah, it's a tricky line that you have to follow there. I do think that we'll see LSU be aggressive in terms of adding more talent to the pitching staff. I think it's good. I think maybe the silver lining here with Moore's injury, for example, is that it's not the TJ word. It's not the worst case scenario. They sound like he's going to be able to be back by next fall and being able to pitch again, and that's a solid piece. Like he was, I wouldn't say that Cooper Moore was the best pitcher that LSU's ever had here or anything like that, but he was a very solid piece for you in the weekend rotation, and he'll come back and compete for more playing time here next year and be a good piece for you. But I think with Evans and Schmidt here, like they need to go through these experiences, and that's another thing that Coach Johnson has really consistently said is that in these failures we have to be able to learn something out of it, and I think those two guys with every start are going to be able to take what they've learned and really pour it into their development here in the off season. But I'm still super high on both of them. I know this has been a rough stretch for both, but I mean, we've seen the best and we've seen the worst, and if they can find a way to get the best versions of themselves a little bit more consistent, it's a 1-2 punch that I think next year it could be really, really scary for the rest of the SEC.
Glenn West, our gas senior writer over at Go 24/7. All right, let's transition over to football. Winding things down in the spring. Lane Kiffin met with the media earlier today. Spoke about the offensive line. Spoke about some of the young defensive linemen as well. Anything stand out from Lane Kiffin today?
Not a ton today. I mean, I would say probably he was asked. The very first thing was about Deuce Gerald's and just kind of his quick ascension here over the last month, and I think that's going to be a storyline to follow. Is not just him, but also fellow freshman Richard Anderson and Lamar Brown when he gets here this summer. Like I think that LSU is going to be in a position where they have to lean on two or maybe all three of those guys for really meaningful snaps here in the fall, and that's I think if they're ready for it, that's an awesome position to be in if you're LSU. But we're going to have to just wait and see what those guys look like on the field because that is an adjustment here once the games start. But they've been really impressive so far. He was asked about Winston Watkins, the wide receiver who they got from Ole Miss, who followed Lane over from Ole Miss, and I think that was a really interesting answer. He's the only guy really in this offense that has any experience of playing in this system, and he's really taken that opportunity and kind of just run with it here over the course of spring. I don't think there's been a more consistent offensive player for LSU over the last 4 weeks than Winston Watkins. So I think that they're starting to find maybe a few pieces here that I think you can say pretty comfortably that will have roles. I think Watkins is one of them. I think Jackson Harris is another. And then I think, you look at Trey'Dez Green, you look at some of the pieces on the offensive line like Jordan Seaton and Braylon Moore. I think those are guys that, barring injury, of course, should all have pretty significant roles on this offense here going into the fall.
How many basketball commitments will Will Wade have next time we talk?
I hope that yesterday opened up the floodgates a little bit because, I must admit, I was as much of a just waiting for it to happen, but also at the same time being like, okay, these names are starting to fall off the board here pretty quickly with the transfer portal. But there's still some really good players out there that LSU's been in on from the get-go who haven't made their decisions yet, and we'll be keeping a close eye on them. But yesterday was a good start by getting Diabate over from Kentucky. He's a really long wing, defensive-minded wing, physical. I think it's going to be, a great fit and a guy who's played in the NCAA tournament now for 3 straight years to start his career. So good start there, but certainly a lot more work to go. I'll guess that they have at least half of their team completed by next week, if not more. That's just a guess, a wild guess, but I think that they're going to start coming off the board here pretty quickly for basketball.
We'll take it. Glenn West will be all over it over at Go 24/7. He's with us on Tuesdays. Thanks, Glenn.
All right. Thanks, Huck.
All right, we'll come back and close out the hour. A little football practice report when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. We got a testimonial from right here in the building at Guarantee for One Bath and Closets. Brian Haldane, who hosts our mornings over on Talk 107.3, Mornings with Brian Haldane, aptly named. He had David Duvall come in. He and his wife, they needed a new master bath setup. David Duvall and his team came in and did it all. They managed to put in new vanity that had 2 sinks instead of 1 and transformed that bathroom in the Haldane house. And they've been thrilled ever since. If you're looking for a bathroom project, no matter how big or how small it may be, David Duvall and his team are happy to help you. Maybe it's a tub to shower conversion. Maybe you're talking about taking out a shower and making that into a linen closet, then turning the tub into a shower. You need flooring. You need the plumbing situation taken care of. And, of course, maybe a vanity. They can do it all at One Bath & Closets. You make one phone call to one contractor. It's One Bath & Closets. They get it done. Get that free consultation at onebathandclosets.com. Check them out online, onebathandclosets.com.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new 25 Jeep Grand Cherokee with $15,000 off MSRP.
Plus the 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The Cane's Box Combo, a symphony of flavors. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates has won for our clients over $175 million over the decades, but our greatest success is our clients who have chosen and trusted us to help them. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call. You've got nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan. If you get injured, you could be staring at medical bills, repair costs, and lost income. Life can be turned upside down. At Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we'll work to turn your world right side up. Hire us, and like thousands of our clients, you'll be glad you did.
If your office is experiencing performance issues, like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC, FabryChevrolet.com, FabryChevrolet.com. You know, we live in an online world. If you want to start that car buying process online, be our guest at FabryChevrolet.com because every car they've got on the lot there in St. Francisville is online at FabryChevrolet.com. So if you're thinking it might be time as the summer months approach to get into a new ride, check out the inventory at FabryChevrolet.com. They've got your Chevrolets, they've got your GMCs, and you know that once you make the decision, okay, let's make that quick drive to St. Francisville and see what they've got here in person, you're going to have a wonderful experience. Start to finish, the buying experience is going to be awesome. That's what the Fabry family's been doing for 35 years. They've been here for 35 years. Awesome customer service, wonderful buying experience, and great service after the sale. Check out the inventory of Chevys and GMCs, including Tahoes, Suburbans, Sierras, Yukons, Denali's, all there at FabryChevrolet.com. All right, I was out at the LSU practice field earlier this morning, and 9:50 start up for Lane Kiffin's crew, and I knew that I wasn't going to be there the whole time. I had to get to a quick lunch, so I was just going to do a little bit more watching with my eyes for things that caught my eye, as opposed to charting plays. I didn't see any 11-on-11 plays, just kind of things that caught my eye out there today. And a couple of highlights that I'll share with you. Winnie Watkins made a really cool one-handed catch on a little bit of an end zone route against no defensive back. Ball was thrown up, and he just grabbed it one-handed. I watched the wide receivers pretty closely today. I considered when he signed at LSU, Winnie Watkins to be a very small wide receiver. He's not. He's not tall, but he is very strong. And he was making huge plays on Saturday, but I was up in the press box and not really able to assess properly the size of everyone on the field from way, way up in the press box. But standing 12 feet from Winnie Watkins when he was catching fade routes in the end zone, I can tell you he is a bigger dude than I thought he was. Made a highlight reel catch. Trey Wilson, the Florida transfer, also made a ridiculous one-handed catch on a seam route. He made another leaping catch back behind him in a crossing route. He's a really good athlete. Both of those two guys, incidentally, were in gold jerseys, so they're still in no contact, but they're out there going through drills. Those guys looked athletic. Whit Weeks was out there today. He was not in a non-contact jersey. He was leading the linebackers through the individual drills. He appeared in no way, shape, or form to be hampered at all. And this is just my speculation. This is not anything concrete. But I just feel like Witt's a little bit recovering from the injury. He's really over that. They think he needs very little work in the spring. They need to get him healthy and ready for the fall. So he's not sitting out of practice because he's hurt or incapable. He's sitting out of practice because he doesn't really need it and because they don't want to further risk anything. Because, I mean, when I watched him go through the drills today, he was ripping through those drills. First guy. And they're going under the little roof thing that they make you keep your pad level low while you go through, and he's going through the footwork drills and the cones, and like he was going 100 miles an hour and seemed to be completely fine. They ran their little quick six, which is the 6 plays we see 11 on 11 right when we walk in. I would call it like a 75% walkthrough. Nobody's tackling anybody. I wouldn't suggest the linemen are firing off the ball on every play. They are lined up properly. The defense is out there. They're hitting shoulder pads and helmets, but it's at like 70, 75% speed. It's just to get the blood moving a little bit. It's for timing on the offense, for the defense to make sure their assignment is right and they don't blow a coverage on it, but they're not pursuing the ball or tackling or anything. But there were 6 plays run by the first team offense with Huson Longstreet as the quarterback. And 5 of 6 plays went to Dylan Jones. They tossed in the ball. Then they threw a dump off to him in the middle of the field. Then they threw him a screen when he was lined up at wide receiver. Then they handed it off to him. Then they threw an out route to Trey Green. And then they handed it back to Dylan Jones. And on one of the handoffs up the middle, Dylan Jones took it up the middle and he made a really like sharp cut. And there were a few media members like, whoa. Like we've talked about him 5 times now in a month of ball. He's making a move. And it's pretty obvious to me. And for the first team to go out there and for 5 of the 6 snaps to be to him, I think that says something. Because Lane Kiffin went as far 2 weeks ago at the scrimmage to calling it the depth chart that Bo Bordelon had been inserted in at left guard. And he's never left that spot. And I just think Dylan Jones running with the ones is pretty indicative of where he is. So one of the guys that was not running with the ones was Sam Levitt. He was out there. He was in his shoulder pads, in his helmet, but just not doing anything. And I watched those quarterback wide receiver drills today, and Charlie Weiss Jr. runs the whole thing. Lane Kiffin kind of stands at a distance. He's got a note, like a note card that he takes a note on every once in a while, but he just kind of stands back and watches. Every once in a while he jogs to a different station, but he's not doing a lot of active coaching out there when we're out there. But I did notice twice today during the quarterback wide receiver drills, Lane Kiffin approached Sam Levitt and was kind of demonstratively talking with his hands about things that were going on. And so while Levitt is not able to participate physically, and that's a big bummer, and that's a negative about this spring, no doubt. I think Lane Kiffin is taking an interest in him during reps, and Sam is there, and he's paying attention, and he's trying to get as much, to absorb as he can without actually going through the reps. And I think Lane Kiffin's kind of paying some attention to that. Trey Brown was not there, as he has not been the last couple of days. Malik Blockton was taped up. He had to leave practice for a brief amount of time. Didn't appear to be something super serious, but he did leave and get some tape put on. DeMarcus Cooley returned, which was good to see. And I think that was about all my notes from practice. So perfect time. We've got 30 seconds left in the hour. If you want to read a practice report, Matt and myself kind of collabed on one for LouisianaSports.net. You can check that out for free on the homepage of the site right now. Our Tuesday shows are brought to you by Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. Hour number 1 in the books. If you missed it, you can catch it on demand wherever you find your sound. We got a lot to do in hour number 2. LSU's got a basketball commitment. I'll tell you about it. Lane Kiffin met with the media. You'll hear some of that. Sheree Aishak too.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Gotros Outdoor Power. Gotros Outdoor Power. It is grass cutting season. It is. It's hot, and that grass is going to be growing from now through October. So if you need a new piece of machinery to help cut that grass, Gotros Outdoor Power should be your first and only stop. 2 great locations. One, Baton Rouge on Airline Highway. Tons of inventory there. Or in Gonzales, where they've got a great location as well. If you need that equipment delivered on a trailer because you don't have a trailer, they got you covered. That's why you don't buy from the big box stores. You buy from the family-owned and operated business at Gotros Outdoor Power. They've been running things for 22 years. Hustler, National Dealer of the Year, 2 of the last 3 years, plus the biggest parts inventory in the state by far. So if you're looking for a new zero-turn mower to cut your grass, to manage your property, Gotros Outdoor Power. Find them online. It's GotrosOnline.com. GotrosOnline.com.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
Bayou Ford has the new 25 Ford F-150 Lariat truck with $12,000 off MSRP, plus the 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. We are honored and humbled to receive from our clients in Google. Based on 5-star client reviews, the designation of our law firm is highly recommended. Whether you hire us at all, please give us a call, 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. Injuries happen when you least expect them to, making your life more complicated. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we know this, and we strive to help each of our clients during these times. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment. Dame's back on. Coors Light. Choose chill.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. 2 nights after an impressive NBA playoff debut, NBA Defensive Player of the Year Victor Wembanyama leads the Spurs against the Trailblazers tonight in Game 2 of that first-round series, 7:30 Eastern ESPN Radio. Victor shot 3 of 12 from the field, 5 of 6 from three-point range, 35 points. He also had 5 rebounds, 2 blocks in that Game 1 win. Do, though, expect improvement in one area from him tonight, says ESPN NBA analyst Kendrick Perkins.
I know he's going to be better on the glass. 5 rebounds is unacceptable in his standard, and, you know, he's going to have double digits in that aspect. The crazy thing is, for his first playoff game, you have 35, and you're going to continue to grow because they're going to go and watch film. That's what you need to expect.
Kendrick Perkins on Unsportsmanlike. Rockets forward Kevin Durant with a knee injury. Game time decision in Game 2 against the Lakers tonight. Houston down 1-0. Florida forward Thomas Houck told ESPN's Jeff Borzello and Jeremy Wood he'll return to the Gators for his senior season. At number 13 in ESPN's Top 100 for June's draft, he's the highest-ranked prospect to announce he's going back to school.
When I want that big birthday energy, I grab Confetti Craze 5-Hour Energy. It's Vanilla E, buttery cake flavor without the sugar, and it's easy to take anywhere. The Funfetti flavor is back on 5hourenergy.com or on Amazon. Crack open a Confetti Craze 5-Hour Energy shot today.
Now, the Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour 2, Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Immense Networks, Cloud IT Management. Sheree Aishak in 30 minutes talking about the New Orleans Saints. Lane Kiffin met with the media after practice today. We'll get to some of that sound coming up in 15 minutes. Talked a lot of baseball in hour number 1. Talked to Jake Brown and Cooper Moore injuries, as well as our discussion with Glenn West, which centered around baseball for about 10 minutes. You can go check that out. Have not touched on basketball just yet, and we'll do that now. Will Wade's got a player, y'all. It's just one. They need 12 more, but he does have one, and it comes with an SEC pedigree. Mo Diabate has committed to LSU. Mohamed Diabate, who started his career at Alabama, played there in 23-24 and 24-25, played this past season at Kentucky. He will make his 3rd Southeastern Conference stop at LSU this coming season, and I like this addition. I think it's a good one. He's not going to be your leading scorer. He's not going to shoot the lights out. He's probably not going to be first team All-SEC. But he fills a role you must fill on a quality basketball team. He fills a role that has been filled at LSU by some different names over the years, some that you will remember fondly, some that you may not even remember. But this is a player in the mold of Marlon Taylor under Will Wade. This is a player that under the last 2 years of Matt McMahon, Jai Bailey, and Pablo Tamba filled. This is a role to a little bit of a different extent because Emmett Williams is a post player and Mo Diabate is more of a perimeter player, but Emmett Williams did a similar role for Will Wade's best teams. Mo Diabate is coming to LSU to be a long, athletic, rangy, hustling workhorse and do the dirty stuff. He's done it for 3 seasons in Southeastern Conference basketball. He played in 70 games over 2 years at Alabama. He played last year in 31 for Kentucky, missed a little bit of time for injury. He had an ankle injury that cost him about 3 weeks. But he started 10 games, played in 31. He's not been a high-volume shooter. He's not been a high-volume scorer. He's not been a starter for most of his time in the SEC. But he is a very, very defined role that he is very good at. And he will play that role at LSU. He will guard the best wing on the other team. He will get on the glass relentlessly from the perimeter. He will create second chance opportunities. He will block shots. He will get steals. He will throw down dunks, and he will get putbacks. And he's happy to do that. I can tell you what I think from watching the tape, and I will. But I also, when a player decides to leave, I like to judge the reactions from the place that player is leaving. And sometimes they're indicative of the type of player that is, and sometimes they're sour grapes. And I think that you can kind of parse through and figure things out. I mean, the Ole Miss fans all hate Lane Kiffin and say he's a choker in the big games, and they think he's just terrible human and all this kind of stuff. And the fact of the matter is that they know that Lane Kiffin elevated their program to the heights it had not seen since the 60s. And so they didn't appreciate him leaving, but I think deep down they all know that it's a big deal. So in that sense, it was an incorrect reaction. The Kentucky fans in Mo Diabate's replies on social media were overwhelmingly positive about how much they enjoyed watching him play and about how much he represented Kentucky well and what a joy he was to watch. And these are some of the best basketball fans in the country. So I liked that response to his tweet that he was entering the transfer portal. And I think this is a noteworthy addition. Now, again, I've watched the tape and I've looked at the stats. At Kentucky this past year, as I mentioned, 31 games, 10 starts. He averaged 8.8 points per game. He averaged 5.5 rebounds per game. He was a quality field goal shooter at 54%. He is not a good shooter as a whole. From three-point range, 21%. He only shot 28 of them. That's not really his game. But also from the free throw line, and this is really indicative of just how good a shooter you are, 65% from the charity stripe as a 6'7" player. He's not a good shooter. He's left-handed, not overly polished. The year prior at Alabama, he shot 61% from the line. His freshman year, he shot 47% from the line. This is not a scorer. This is not a volume shooter. This is not a guy with great touch, the ability to create his own shot. This is a junkyard dog on the perimeter. You put him on the other team's best scorer. You tell him to crash the glass where other guards don't. You tell him to finish around the rim. And I'll tell you what he is on offense, which is where this 54% shooting comes from. And look, 9 points a game is not nothing. Not everybody can drop 18 points per game. 9 points a game is a significant contribution, especially from a guy coming off the bench. But a lot of it is slashing. He's a good cutter. If he sees a lane, he can put it on the floor and get to the rim. And he's a great leaper and a good finisher around the rim. This is a role player. This is not, oh my gosh, Nate Oates has got a top 15 basketball program in the country. He signed him out of high school. Kentucky spent $22 million and felt like they needed to invest in him. This guy is a program changer. This is our dude. No, he's not that. He's not. He is a role player that you need on a good team. Again, I gave you the names. Like Marlon Taylor played this role excellently. Now, Marlon Taylor did more. He shot it a little bit better, and he wasn't as good dribbling the ball and getting to the rim. They're not the same. But you understand the role. 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", big leaper, and Diabate is 6'7", can leap, and is physical. LSU's team 2 years ago under Matt McMahon, when they got off the bus, you could tell not physical, not strong enough. And that's why Matt McMahon wanted to go out and get Mike Nwoku, and wanted to go get Pablo Tamba, and wanted to go get some men that filled out the uniform a little bit better than what he had. Diabate is that. He's chiseled. And I like this. Will Wade's got an idea of what he's trying to do. And he's got to go get an elite point guard. He's got to go get some dead-eye shooters. You've got to be physical in this league and get guys into your program that can handle big and talented 6'11" bigs. Like, there are a lot of pieces to this puzzle, but one of the pieces to your puzzle needs to be perimeter defender, rebounding guard. And Mo Diabate fits that to a T. I listened to a little bit of Kentucky basketball podcasts around the time LSU played them and late when things weren't going as well, and just to kind of get a sense for what things were looking like for Mark Pope. And the overwhelming commentary on Diabate was that he played his role wonderfully, and I think you can expect that at LSU. I as I mentioned this yesterday, and I'm not going to go any deeper into this, but I heard on Saturday or Sunday, doesn't matter. I heard one of the weekend days that they had made some significant headway on attracting players. And the fact that LSU had not announced a commitment or publicly received a commitment was of no concern, that there were probably 4 guys already in the boat. That's the word that's coming out. I don't know who they are, but the feeling is that LSU is already putting this roster together. And I trust Will Wade to do that. He had time to get his ducks in a row. He's got his staff here. They're hosting some visitors now. They're on Zoom calls constantly. They're going to get this thing moving in the right direction. I don't know if they're going to be the 3rd best team in the SEC next year or the 14th best team in the SEC next year. No idea. But the inclination that they're consistently whiffing in the portal and are struggling to scrape a roster together are not true. They're making headway. They're getting some things done. This is the first to leak out. And it would, quite frankly, be pretty stunning to me if I got in the car on Friday morning and went to Starkville and something else or 3 hadn't broken. That's kind of where we are in this cycle. It's coming, and I like this one. As long as you understand what his role is, and I wouldn't mind if he started. If he's your starting 3 next year, that is absolutely okay. If he's your 6th man, that's awesome. We'll see. We just got to see how the rest of the pieces fit together, and I'm excited about it. And I'll tell you this. I reluctantly talked about LSU basketball at times during the week in late January and throughout February. Reluctantly did it because I would rather do that than dive into Pittsburgh Steelers storylines or whatever else we could get into. I would rather keep it local. I want to keep it local. But I reluctantly gave you those stories and those comments and talking about games that LSU played when I felt like there was probably a sizable amount of the listenership that had checked out on the program. I don't feel that way anymore. I felt perfectly fine leading off this hour telling you about one player that Will Wade brought in because I believe that this town in November of next year is going to have a modicum of excitement about basketball. Now, that will ultimately rest on how well the football team is performing. And football will always drive the bus. And when you start playing your basketball season days around the LSU-Alabama football game, I understand how the pecking order works, okay? But I do feel like people are interested in basketball right now and will be excited about basketball in the fall. That's my hope. Maybe I'm misreading the situation, but I feel like that. And I'm excited about Mo Diabate. I think he's a nice piece to add, assuming you fill in the requisite pieces around him. We'll see if that's the case or not. Speaking of football, Lane Kiffin met with the media earlier today after practice. Had some interesting things to say, specifically one about a true freshman who he really likes, who I took note of moving around at positions on Saturday. We'll talk about that when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC, FabryChevrolet.com, FabryChevrolet.com. Need a new truck? I got it for you. Up to $11,000 off of Silverados or 1.9 APR financing. How about up to $13,000? $13,000 off GMC Sierras. They've got them there at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. So if you're looking for a new truck, look no further. Check them out, Highway 61 in St. Francisville, or online at FabryChevrolet.com. I've been telling you also for the last couple of weeks, summer's coming up. If you need a new road trip car for that summer vacation that you're excited about taking, got to load the kids up. Tahoes, Suburbans, Yukons, Denali's, great family options, and they've got them at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Check that inventory out online at FabryChevrolet.com. Make that short drive to St. Francisville and get behind the wheel of a Chevrolet or a GMC, courtesy of the Fabry family at Fabry Chevrolet GMC.
At Parrish, we take pride in building roofs that last because championships are built on commitment, not just on the floor or the court, but your home too.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishBuilt.com.
At Raising Cane's, we hand batter every chicken finger, mix every cane sauce, butter every Texas toast, stir every slaw, and salt every fry. Because when you do it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. Now the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient. And you will have your pool in no time.
I'm lawyer Collins Locke Meredith. Among the most important factors to consider when you're hiring an injury attorney is trust. You trust your attorney will put your interest first, treat you with respect, fairness, and honesty. You trust them to be there for you when you need them. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, thousands of clients have trusted us to represent them, and for good reasons.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Chugging along here on a Tuesday. Let me tell you about Lifetime Roofing, lifetimeroofingla.com, lifetimeroofingla.com. Their storm season is coming up, obviously. If you want a look at your roof prior to storm season to make sure it's in good shape, Lifetime Roofing is happy to do that inspection for you. And if you need a new roof, they'll tell you. If you just need a repair, they'll tell you. If you just need a tune-up to fortify that roof for our summer months, they can do that as well. And Lifetime Roofing is a company you can trust. That's important in roofing because there are companies out there that just want to sell you their most expensive product. That's a new roof. But maybe it's not necessary. Maybe you just need that tune-up. Lifetime Roofing is happy to do that for you. They're here to help. They're here to serve this community because this is home. It's a Baton Rouge-based business. The ownership is from South Louisiana with roots in Baton Rouge. They're here to help. So if you want a look at your roof before storm season begins, check them out online at lifetimeroofingla.com and request that inspection. They're happy to do it. And if you need a new roof, they've got financing options available. Lifetime Roofing, they're online at lifetimeroofingla.com. All right, Lane Kiffin met with the media earlier today, and I want to spend this part of the show on LSU's offensive and defensive lines. And it starts with a defensive lineman who has very obviously made some strides here in this spring. I was watching Deuce Gerald's on Saturday at the scrimmage and specifically in the individual drills where he was lining up. And oftentimes he's at defensive tackle, and that's where you'd expect him to be. That's what he was recruited to do. But they also have lined him up on the edge, and he's played some end. And I think they're just kind of looking at what use they can get out of him in year one here as a true freshman. And that's intriguing to me because I think he's made significant strides. And Lane Kiffin was asked about Deuce Gerald's today.
Yeah, Deuce has done a phenomenal job, major impact. I always talk to coaches to think about these guys used to still be in high school, before everybody became mid-years. And for him to come in and play at the level he plays at, but practice the way that he does, and says a lot about his coaching in high school, says a lot about his upbringing with his parents, because that's very unique to be able to handle all that. He's going to be a great player here, and really enjoy coaching him too because of his just mindset. Saturday night, I think I was going out on the field for a jog, and he's the only one out there, by himself at night, just hitting the sled all by himself. Speaks volumes to who he is. When no one's looking, what do you do?
There's always a small part of me when a true freshman makes a push like this that says, okay, how much of this is precocious talent, guy who's ready for it, had the upbringing, had the coaching, body's in shape, ready to roll? And how much is they don't have anybody better than him, that's a problem? And this is not the time for that discussion, but increasingly, high schoolers are preparing and are prepared for college more quickly. And there's no question that arriving on a college campus in January is more advantageous for an October freshman than it is if you show up in July. That 6 months is a big deal. The weight program, understanding practices, even just being away from your parents for the first time and learning how to live in college while you're not trying to prepare for Clemson's offensive line. I just think that there's a chance Deuce Gerald's is a pretty impactful player on this team, and it feels that way right now. So let's move over to the offensive side of the football, specifically the offensive line. Lane Kiffin was asked an open-ended question today about what position group has been the most surprising in a good way and developed the most in the spring, and he went towards that offensive line.
I mentioned the offensive line, with so many new guys, has come along well. I think in general, just the understanding of our expectations, how to practice, how to work, how to prepare, that's come a long ways, and I'm really pleased with that in general of the players. In my opinion, you never know this time of year, okay, do we have enough elite players to make a really deep run? But I do know this, we have really good culture kids that chose to come here have really bought in. The ones that stayed have really bought into the changes. So that's been really good because that's not always easy. So that part's been really good.
So that's good. They're buying in. They're changing the way they do things, and they need a lot of changes on the offensive line. That has to happen, no question. And then Lane followed up on that with what do you need to see from the offense moving forward through the rest of spring, which is coming up on a week?
Yeah, there's a ton of work to still be done there. Very pleased really in the last week, like what I said about the progression of the offense. And again, just everybody feeling each other out. Players, coaches, new coaches, everything together. And it was very concerning early on offensively. I think you guys could probably tell that in my responses. And so it's been really good. And we're headed the right direction, but there's still a ton of work to do.
I can tell you unequivocally that statement is true. That scrimmage we saw 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago as it were now, was atrocious by the offense. It was awful. It was awful. Awful. And they were significantly better on Saturday. And I think that's a testament to the progression of that group. Now, we all know they don't have their starting quarterback out there. That's a big deal. We all know that the defense has a lot more continuity. That's a big deal. And so you should expect the defense to win early. But the offense is throwing some haymakers now, and they were good again today. I wasn't out there, but I read Matt's practice report, and he'll tell you a little bit more about it coming up, I'm sure, in his first hour today. But they're making progress. I'm not here to tell you they're going to be third in the country in scoring. They're making progress. And that something that I've taken from this is that Lane Kiffin was telling the media the truth when he said the offense was bad, and he's telling the media the truth when he says they're making strides. And that's just something I file away for when he says things moving forward in press conferences, because I've covered coaches who just throw flowers on everything. Les was like that. Les, after practice, would just say, that guy was good, these guys were great, this was awesome. Everything was great at practice. We were never allowed in there for a significant amount of time, so we just had to take his word for it. Everything was always great. Paul Maneri will get up there and tell you, yeah, this was terrible. We had an awful workout. Can't do it. And Jay Johnson will do the same thing. We had a practice on Tuesday before the game, and it went terribly. We had a practice, and it was awesome. Had our best day of work this day. And, again, I don't care how you handle press conferences, but it's my job as someone who takes the press conference content and distributes it to you, the listener, to have a reasonable expectation of the person I'm listening to. And Lane has told the truth on those things thus far. So I'll monitor that. I'll continue to parse through press conference answers and figure out exactly what I should take and what I should dismiss. I think he's telling the truth when he talks about the offense really making some strides. And the last piece of this is, how's the running game made the defense better? This was an answer that didn't necessarily go too deep because they're not tackling, and he'll tell you that. But LSU's offense is different, and this defense is having to look at it. So what's that doing to help the defense?
We really haven't tackled, so, I don't know that we've made them much better in the run game offensively. But Blake does a great job. Players play really hard for him. He's a great motivator, and so I really like that because it creates a competitive atmosphere out there, and be excited when Witt gets back out there, and so we're at full strength, and to really have really highly competitive practices in the run game, especially as we eventually tackle at some point.
And that will come in August. That will not come in April because he doesn't see that as value, and I'm okay with that. Trying to keep guys healthy, spend a lot of money on them, try to keep them upright, get them to the fall through summer conditioning. So that's a look at LSU football here on this Tuesday. Done some LSU football today. I gave a practice report at the end of hour number 1. Glenn talked a little bit about football as well. So if you're looking for LSU football content, you can always find it at Hunt on LSU. That's Hunt on LSU. Looking for Saints content, you can find that at Hunt on Saints. I gave you my Saints wish list for the draft on Thursday. These are the 5 guys in order that I would like the Saints to take. If you want to check that out, you can at the in hour number 1, or of course on Hunt on Saints. We're going to continue with our Saints talk with Sheree Aishak. He'll be covering the draft on Thursday. We're excited to talk to him and get into some Saints when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. SwingEasyGCBR.com. SwingEasyGCBR.com. Be a member. Be a member at Swing Easy Golf Club. Allows you to pop in there at lunch, pop in there after work. You get some perks by being a member. You get a number of hours at the beginning of the month complimentary. You can entertain clients there with a corporate membership. Maybe an awesome place to entertain them. It's a great place. You go by, you get a private bay, comfortable seating, crank some tunes, turn on the simulator, play some Pebble Beach, play that course where they give out that jacket. You can do that too. Get mulligans if you need them. Scratch golfers, beginners. It's welcoming to all skill levels over there at Swing Easy Golf Club, and memberships are available. Stop in and see them, Segan at Perkins, and just ask about a membership. You can also check that out online at SwingEasyGCBR.com. Again, they are on Segan at Perkins at Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience, or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith, If you've been injured on the job, you'll likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim, which opens up significant recovery rights not normally available for a work injury. If this is you, call us or come see us at Lot Mayor Sean Fagan and Associates.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Tuesday shows brought to you by Immense Networks, cloud IT management. Think of Immense as a consultant for IT. They're there to help. They're there to help you. Not only, this computer's frozen, can you fix that? Because that's what I think of when I think of IT. They're actually there to help you grow your business, to function better with their ability to manage your IT and do things that you may not have thought of with technology. That's what Immense does. They've been in business doing it for 20 years. 24/7, 365 custom solutions for your information technology. A lot of times you don't know things are broken or why things are acting the way they are. That's what Immense can figure out as they monitor your IT 24/7. Check them out online at immense.net. If you feel like your IT department is overwhelmed or is not performing the way that you think it could, Immense can help. Not here to take anybody's job. They're here to help. That's what Immense can do. Check them out online, immense.net, immense.net. Sheree Aishak with us from WDSU down in New Orleans. Sheree, it's been a long ride, but we finally made it to the draft. How we doing?
Good. I'm actually doing a mock draft as we talk on the phone right now.
What does that mean?
That means I'm doing a mock draft for the 100th time. I'm going through one of these draft simulators, and I'm picking guys for the Saints. And I keep landing on the same three guys with the 8th overall pick.
All right, I'm going to talk about the 8th overall pick in a second. But how many rounds is this mock draft that you do?
I'm doing all 7 rounds.
What do you know about the 6th round pick from North Dakota State?
0. All I know is Lance Fields. I think it's Lance Fields' brother, or is that his name? Plays quarterback. His brother is also a receiver at North Dakota State.
Okay.
All I know.
Well, that's my deal. It's like I cannot be asked to be an expert on guys that might come off the board in the 5th or 6th round. I should be able to give you a nice scouting report on those that are available at 8 overall. You start getting into the 5th round, I'll just see what happens and let the die fall where they may. But you're a better man than I. Let's talk about the 1st round. You said the same 3 guys. Let me guess them. Let me guess the 3 guys. It's Ruben Bain. It is Carnell Tate. It's Mansour Delane.
Well, I would say I would remove one of those guys, and that would be Carnell Tate, and replace him with his teammate on the other side of the ball, Caleb Downs.
Okay.
The main three guys that I keep running into, which makes sense because you see all the mock drafts from all the national experts, and whenever they are mock drafting the 8th overall pick, it's those three guys, and you see a different variation. And, yeah, you see Carnell Tate in that mix, but I truly think Carnell Tate is off the board. If not, the Saints just run up to the podium and take him in a heartbeat.
You believe Carnell Tate is significantly better than Jordan Tyson?
I think he's healthier.
Sure.
And he can run routes at all three levels. He's a good deep ball runner. He's a good guy who can run across the middle, contested catches, run after catch. Now, he's not the fastest guy, runs a 4.55, whatever. But still, once again, look at the tape. The tape doesn't lie. I don't care about combines. I don't care about pro days. The same goes for Ruben Bain. Are you good on the field? And both guys are really good on the field. All those guys I just named are really good on the field. I know what people want to say, well, Tyson is better than Tate. And you might be right. He probably is better. But guess what? He hasn't been able to stay healthy in college. What's going to happen when he plays in a 17-game NFL season every single year? And I think the thing that's worrisome are those soft tissue injuries, like the hamstring. The broken bone is not a problem because a lot of people know it's broken bones and they've been fine. But those soft tissue injuries, hamstrings and knees and all that stuff, cartilage and ligaments, that's tough, man. That's tough for me to deal with. But, like, when healthy, Hunt, he's the best receiver in the draft for sure.
He's certainly a heck of an athlete. I think everyone is kind of on the same page with these Saints picks as far as there's just a lot of options. They should be in good shape. Just got to make sure they make the right pick. I'm curious for you personally if you believe there is a reasonable pick on the board that would be a big mistake.
Oof. I would think, man.
No is a fine answer, but I'm just curious if there's something you've seen you're like, they better not do that.
It's offensive line.
Okay.
It truly does feel like offensive line to me. And I understand that Francis Mauigoa could be a very talented guy. Vincent Fano could be very good. It's just, man, it doesn't move the needle for what this team needs to start winning the next 2 years. And, yeah, I mean, they can do it, but at the same time, are you really willing to move Fuaga for the third straight season if you're drafting another offensive lineman and maybe he struggles on a third straight move? I mean, to me, it makes no sense. But to them, it might make sense because that's what they do. We're all probably talking about all the Tates and the Downs and the Mansour Delanes and Baines, and we're just not thinking what they usually do is offensive line. They might be laughing at us, dude. They might be like, all these guys talking about these position players, they're forgetting about what we've done in recent years, and that's offensive line.
What about Delane? How's that fit if that's what they decide to do?
I'd be fine with Mansour Delane. It feels like that's somebody that you could plug in and start right away. You can move one of the other two inside, and it feel like it'd be Quincy Riley. And it's no disrespect to those guys when you say that. You're about to say something disrespectful, but I just don't know if I'm ready to fully trust those two at, cornerback 1 and cornerback 2 on the outside this season. And maybe they grow after the season and become very, very good starters. But, like, I want a sure thing. You give me Mansour Delane, and I'm good with it. And then you got 3 solid cornerbacks on the field. So, once again, I am not upset with any of those 4 guys at number 8.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know if Riley and McKinstry have earned number 1 monikers to this point. Certainly Mansour Delane hasn't, but I feel like if I'm looking at those 3 players and looking at the upside, Delane feels like he has the highest upside. Just a matter of how quickly he can grow into that, and it can take some time at that level with those guys running routes. They're pretty damn good. That's a look at the first round. I think everyone's pretty comfortable with the names there. Do you have 2 or 3 for me with that second-round pick, or maybe a position that you would like to see them address more quickly than the others?
Okay, let's just say, hypothetically, Tate's off the board at number 8, and they go defense. Let's just say they go Caleb Downs at number 8, and then here you go. You're looking at a receiver. Realistically, I know everyone's saying Casey Concepcion, but dude, he's not going to be there at number 42. If he's there at number 42, once again, I treat it like the Carnell Tate situation.
Yeah.
You run the podium and you pick Casey Concepcion. But if he's not there, I like Chris Bell. Chris Bell, I've mentioned him a few times now. I like him a lot because he was Tyler Shuck's teammate at Louisville, and then I see that Tyler Shuck apparently has been voicing his opinion about wanting to have Chris Bell on this team. So maybe you give the quarterback what he wants if you go defense in the first round. He'd be one guy. And if you don't go receiver, and let's just say you go defense, even if it's like Bain or Downs in the first round, you can look at cornerback. You can go try to find a cornerback in the second round. Maybe Chris Johnson from San Diego State. Maybe Keontae Scott.
That's
Keontae
right,
Scott
from Miami. Yeah,
really good. So I'd be okay with one of those, two picks for a receiver. I mean, cornerback or receiver in the second round seems like a no-brainer if they go Bain, Downs, or Tate somehow in the first round. I would be okay with Downs and then another cornerback or receiver in the second round because I think Downs, he can play all over the field, but I still think that, like, if you can get a Scott or a Johnson in the second round or a talented high-level receiver in the second round, you're in good shape. Look, Hunt, they're in a really good spot at 8-42, even at 73, because of the amount of talent and depth this draft has and positions of need for this team at edge, receiver, cornerback, guard, and even tight end. There's a lot of depth in those positions, so I think they're sitting pretty.
One name we haven't talked about, and I'll bring it back to the first round here because it just dawned on me. We have not talked about Sonny Styles yet. What do you think?
He's an alien, man. He's one of a kind. He started his career as, I think, as a safety, and then now he's a linebacker. I think that would be a type of toy that Brandon Staley would love to have on his defense because he probably thinks endless possibilities. Drop in coverage, go after the running back, go after the quarterback. I realistically don't think he's there, but if he's there, he's also another option. But then you start thinking, man, well, then I just signed Caden Ellis,
right?
Werner, but I'm starting to fade a little on Pete Werner. You got Danny Stutzman, you have Isaiah Stallbird, and I guess like it's hard. You think about it, it's so hard to pass on somebody who's a phenom, but at the same time, you don't know what he's going to be either at the next level because of the amount of moves he's made. But he's a freak in nature. But I think you look at him, and I think the Giants probably snag him at number 5. Is my guess.
Yeah, I mean, you're just looking at it's just not a need for the Saints right now. It's more of a luxury, maybe best player available type deal, but I don't know that it would fit a need. And the Saints they have needs, and so I think that's an interesting deal. Last question here, big picture. I've asked you this before, but I'll ask it again because it's more pertinent now with the time that we're in. It's always, what have you done for me lately? The last draft was good. The ones before that, What's the confidence level in the Saints fan base in Loomis, Ireland, Moore to get these picks right this year?
Well, I think that, like, knowing where they sit at in this draft, and like I said, the amount of depth and talent this draft has at their needs, I think they're very confident. I think that, like, they feel like they can't mess up number 8. Knock on wood. They can't mess up number 8. Truly. There's so much talent, Hunt, at number 8, and they feel confident that, Mickey, Jeff, and the front office can get that done. And even at 42. After that, we'll see. But 73 is also a good spot. But I think they're feeling very good. I mean, this draft, couldn't be any better for the Saints at this point in terms of how they can reload this team and fix a lot of their positions. I mean, every time I do one of these simulators, man, I feel like there's always a really good player there. The realistic players. I take the Jeremiah Love off the board and the Sonny Styles off the board because you start seeing them every once in a while when I do one of these. But they're really sitting pretty, Hunt. I mean, and I think Mickey has a chance to continue building good grades with the fan base. I mean, he really does if he continues what they did last year. I mean, I know it's an every 10 years type of thing almost, but I feel like just the way this is set up, they can also do this again and hit somewhat of a double or a triple in this draft.
I really feel like they're one draft away from creating that base. Then you roll some contracts off, and you can be more aggressive next year in free agency, and you should be, if you do it right there. But you've got the next 5 days are just beyond important to this franchise. We'll see if they get it done. Sharif, we'll talk this time next week.
You got it, bud. See you next week.
Sheree Aishak, WDSU, down in New Orleans. Saints on the clock, number 8 overall, coming up on Thursday. I'll give you my projected pick for New Orleans tomorrow. If you missed it, I gave you my wish list 1 through 5 as to who I thought the Saints would take, who I would take if I were the Saints at 1 through 5 reasonably. That was in the first hour. You can catch it at Hunt on Saints, all of our Saints content, Hunt on Saints. And Ross Jackson is all over it. As I told you yesterday, Ross has nailed the last 2 first-round picks for the Saints. He'll have his pick coming up on Thursday. We'll see if he hits a third one in a row right on out of the park. We'll come back and close out a Tuesday show next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
First American Bank and Trust, FABT.com, FABT.com. Bank local. Bank with the local company. Well, why should you bank local? Well, that's because the people that are making the decisions at First American Bank and Trust about your commercial loan, about the loan for your business, about the loan for your family and your home, they're local too. You see them at church. Their kids are in school with yours. You may have gone to school with them. They're local here in Southeast Louisiana. 25 locations throughout Southeast Louisiana. Jones Creek and Dutchtown around Baton Rouge. Hammond up there in St. Tammany, Tangipahoa Parish. Down the bayou, St. James, St. John, Lafourche, over in Metairie. First American Bank and Trust is local. And when I say local, that doesn't mean some mom and pop shop that can't fit the needs of your sizable business. No, 25 locations. They can handle it. It's First American Bank and Trust, the local banking option. You can find them online, FABT.com.
The Cane's Box Combo, a symphony of flavors. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love.
Bayou Ford has the new 25 Ford F-150 Lariat truck with $12,000 off MSRP, plus the 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit LouisianaPropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we know each case and client are unique, and that no 2 cases are the same. But one thing remains constant, and that is our passion to help our clients. After an accident, we know your life has changed, which is why we passionately fight to make you and your family whole. Remember, whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. We're here to serve you.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
All right, wrapping things up here on a Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. If you're looking for something to do this evening, you can come check me out. Sports trivia at Court the Table on Burbank, 8 o'clock. We'll be watching LSU and UNO. You can win gift cards. Great food over there at Court the Table. Fantastic drinks. We always have a good time over there at Court the Table. If you've never done it, come on by and see us tonight. Grab a team. You can come by yourself as well. We play in the bar area there. It's always a lot of fun. So come by and see me. Court to Table, 8 o'clock tonight for sports trivia every single Tuesday. Have you out of there by about 9:15, 9:20 every single week. Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it. Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, Hunt, we have some international news going on. So children in the United Kingdom, if they have not reached the age of 18 by January 1st of 2027, they will be forever banned from buying cigarettes or tobacco products in the United Kingdom once this new law is completely filled through Parliament by King Charles III, whatever they got going on over there. So that means people born after January 1st, 2009 would never be eligible to buy cigarettes. They're the second country to do this. New Zealand was the first in 2023. So smokeless generation, take it or leave it.
I mean, I'll take it.
Okay. I'll take it.
I'm one of the few. I have never smoked anything in my entire life. I don't even know how. I have no idea how to smoke. It seems from the outside to be extremely unpleasant to suck smoke into your mouth. I don't.
Yeah.
Never done it. No idea. Not gonna have any interest. Never gonna do it. But it has been legal, and if you want to do that, it's fine. I just not necessarily love it kind of around me.
Yeah, no one's definitely. Oh my God.
So yeah, I'm gonna take it, but I understand that's gonna be a bummer for. Well, I guess it's not really a bummer unless you started smoking when you were 14 and now I'm taking it away from you. If you're 22, you can still smoke. So I guess there aren't that many people that are gonna be adversely affected by it. Whatever.
It's crazy. I actually want to see how this is going to turn out. A smokeless generation, so these kids, I just feel like now people are going to be dying over cigarettes. I don't
turn into a black market.
For real, it's going to be a black market for cigarettes. All right, so Billy Donovan has decided to step down as the head coach of the Chicago Bulls after 6 seasons. The Bulls announced that they wanted him to stay, but Billy Donovan felt that he wanted to step away from the team, and the team respected his decision. So is Billy secretly trying to go back to college basketball? Take it or leave it?
I think I'm taking it. Somebody's speculating about this.
He's only 60 years old.
Yeah, you just let Mark Pope flame out one more year in Lexington and then take that job.
He'll be calling.
That sounds fine. People are not happy with Mark Pope in Lexington right now. He did not have the year they were looking for. Almost got beat by Santa Clara, then got beat in the second round, and the portal is just not going very well right now for Kentucky. So they're cranky. Maybe Billy Donovan's their guy. They ride it out one more year with Pope and then get rid of him.
That would be crazy. So the PGA Tour has announced that the Sentra and Sony tournaments in Hawaii will not be on the schedule for the first time since the 1960s. So take it or leave it.
I'm leaving it. This is devastating news to me.
Okay.
Everybody has that sport that's a little bit niche that they like. Some MMA, some boxing, some NASCAR, some golf, some tennis. You got something. It's not like you're number one, but I love golf, obviously. I look forward to every year, the first 2 weeks of the year, first week of January, second week of January, they're in Hawaii.
Yes.
Doesn't matter. I'm not in Hawaii, right? But with the time difference, it comes on at 6 p.m. It's the only time all year I can watch golf from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., after the kids go to bed. I love primetime golf. Plus, it's freezing here in January, and it's beautiful, 90 and beautiful there. It's just a nice thing to see on your TV.
Yeah.
I love the Hawaii tournaments. And they're gone, and I'm bummed about that.
Is there a reason why they're gone, or
they're changing the schedule up? I think they're gonna send that week to Torrey Pines in San Diego. I'm bummed. I love those 2 weeks. The scenes at Kapalua, which is number 2 on my public golf bucket list.
Okay, that's high.
It's very high.
Yeah.
I loved watching that week. It's in the mountains, and it's got these unbelievable views of the ocean, and it's just these holes are huge, and I love watching it.
Are they wearing Hawaii themed?
Some of the guys put on some different things. They put some. That tournament is for all the winners the previous year. The only way you can get into it is if you won on the tour the previous year, then you can play in it.
Little treat.
It's always great, and I'm really bummed that there's no primetime golf moving forward.
All right, so to finish up, Florida forward Thomas Howell will return to the Gators for his senior season. He told ESPN, delaying an opportunity as a potential lottery pick. So will this be the new norm? Lottery picks skipping the NBA draft to go back to school. Take it or leave it.
Norm, leave it.
Okay.
Leave it alone.
You want to get into the NBA and get to that next contract.
Most
because,
definitely.
look, the NIL stuff is great, grand, wonderful. You go to a school that really cares, you can make some real money in college.
Yep.
You make the money in the NBA.
Most definitely.
So they give money to everybody in the NBA.
Zion
you
Williamson.
just hang around in the league. They'll dump a bunch of cash on you. They have to spend it. It's in the rules. So, yeah, I mean, I just don't think it'll be the norm. But college is more is a more appealing thing now than it's ever been because there's a lot of money in it. There's a whole story that was written in The Athletic this week that Riley Leonard and Will Howard.
Oh, yeah, they're getting paid
They got
less.
They got big pay cuts to go to the NFL. Part of it. They were out of eligibility.
So that's it for take it or leave it.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it, man.
All
Get
right.
up out of here.
That was a fast show for a Tuesday. If you missed any of it, catch it on demand. I'm bummed about the Jake Brown and Cooper Moore injury, obviously. I talked about it at the top of the show. LSU football practice report, Lane Kiffin sound, Saints talk, 2 different segments. Lots to get into. It's my favorite time of the year. Unfortunately, the baseball team's not cooperating with that. I will still watch them this evening. Hopefully they win. Matt's going to drive you home. He'll talk about all the same stuff we did. We're back tomorrow, same time, same place. Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Before we get out of here, Marucci, go take a tour at Marucci. Such a cool story here in Baton Rouge. If you don't know it, you can go learn about it at the campus tour. 2 former big leaguers and their trainer were like, hey, let's make a bat. Made a bat. Pretty good bat. Made a few more bats. Bats were good. People liked the bats. Fast forward 22 years, it's the official bat of Major League Baseball. You can learn step by step how that happened and go check out where they make 1,200 bats every single day to be shipped off to the best in the world. You can go right in there where they make them. See how they're stained. And then you can grab a bat and get in the hitter's house. Take some cuts. Really cool thing you can do over at Marucci. MarucciSports.com/campus-tour is where you get your tickets. And remember, every ticket comes with a 20% discount in the campus tour store as well as the hitter's house. It's all right there. It's all at Marucci.